Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have the Gorestorm Slaughter Pack Battle Force. We just picked this up from my local store, Imperium Hobbies, here in Jakarta, Indonesia. Got a really good price for it, and we are super excited to get building. Of course, we are here for the Slaughterbound. I am keeping the 2 Jackals and 2 of the 8-bounds. I'm probably going to sell one of the 8-bound away. I did get 2 Gorestorm Slaughter packs, though. I think for the other one, I'm just going to be keeping the Slaughterbound because I need 2 of them. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we've already opened the box. Here's my dice, by the way, World Eater's dice. That has my name on it. Yeah, we have this, and of course, we also have the wonderful Codex. Really, really cool. Some amazing artwork in here. Really excited to get into this one. Really cool stuff. Not going to show you everything because it's going to take up too much time. Let's get through some of these sprues though. We have, of course, the brand new Slaughterbound. This is what this is. Looks great. Looks like it's not that terrible of a build in terms of difficulty. There are some parts that I think might be a challenge to put on properly. We are going to get rid of all the mold lines and everything, and we do have a color scheme that's ready for him, so excited to do that one. We have, of course, the bases for all of the 8-bound and the Jackals and the Slaughterbound. Slaughterbound's the only one with the 50mm base. Everything else has, the 8-bound has 40, and then the Jackals have 28, I believe. Here you have the 8-bound sprues, and here are the Jackal sprues. And you also get a transfer sheet, which is kind of cool. Not sure where you're supposed to use this on, but yeah, if you have a Master of Executions, you can put on one of these. Maybe this one for the Rhino. That's all you get. It's a lot, and we are going to get started on the Slaughterbound. Let's go. All right, we got the sprue ready. We got our trusty old nipper. These are really good. And then we have the cutter that we need to clean up sprues and mold lines with. We, of course, have the Citadel plastic glue, which is really, really good. I don't recommend using this for new beginners. Oh my God. For beginners, because these actually have a shorter working time and they kind of get all over your model. So I only use this to get rid of mold lines that I haven't completely gotten rid of with the cutter. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need. And I'm going to go get the manual and get started. All right, here we go. There's the Slaughterbound. These are obviously going to get released solo as well. So if you guys don't want to get the Battle Force, you can wait for it to be released soon. All right, so we need parts 1 and 2. All right, so I'm going to be giving you guys some assembling tips as I go along. So bear with me. I think the first really good tip to know is to always read your manual. Have it available, and don't try to figure everything out yourself. Unless you're already a pro and you want to kit bash or you want to do things like that. Otherwise, if you are new to this, please always just refer to the manual. And then the second tip is to always take your time and actually test fit your parts together before you glue them, because you want to make sure that you are getting it in the right position. Also, and this is probably a really important one, is to rotate your parts after you've glued them. So right after you've glued them, make sure you turn the piece around and make sure that it's in the exact right position. And if it's not perfectly in, you still have time to actually work the glue, especially if you're using the Citadel glue. It's really good because it has a longer working time, so you can actually move it around, adjust to make sure you have a really good fit. So yeah. So as you're building your model, it's also good to sort of gauge how much work you want to put into the model. So let's say you have a character model like this Slaughterbound. You need to think about how much you want to put in, right? I tried to do my best with this one, meaning I did it as cleanly as I could, getting rid of almost all of the mold lines. And the ones that I didn't get rid of were the ones that I left in on purpose. And I also got rid of all of the sprue residue. I wanted to make sure that everything was clean and it was perfect before I started painting. So assembly actually took a lot more time than any other model that I've made. So for example, if you're doing a regular 8-bound, you may not want to spend as much time because you have to maybe make 18 of them, right? So it just depends how much you want to put in, how much effort, how much time, and it's important to kind of decide that as you go along, because sometimes you want to be quick, you want to build your model in time for a competitive game or something, and yeah. It's good to plan things out, decide, and if you want to be neater or you want to be a little messier, not necessarily messier, but if you want to take less time as you go along, you can do that too. So yeah, it's really important. See, as you can see here, this leg piece is sort of a curved piece. It's kind of hard to cut it off cleanly. So what I'm going to do now is try to break it off. Let me see here. I think if I rotate this way, it'll break off quite nicely. There you go. And the leftover sprue is just going to be minimal. And then this one, it's actually a flat surface. So I'm going to use my nipper. If it's a flat surface, then your nipple, oh god, your nipper can actually get a good angle to cut from. Whereas if it's curved, you might accidentally cut a piece of your model off. Here we have another issue here. This is a curved piece, so I would have liked to be able to break this off, but I didn't cut enough of the sprue on here in order to break it off cleanly. So I'm gonna have to cut it. But the way I'm gonna cut it is I'm gonna take a little bit off at a time, because I don't wanna cut off a piece of the model. It's gonna be hard, but now it's a little too small. If you can see here, it's a little too small for me to get with my nipper. So I'm gonna get my knife and slowly cut it off. Now it's a little better. There's just a tiny piece left there, so I'm gonna find the right angle to get that thing off. All right, that's pretty good. As you can see, that's pretty flat. I didn't get any of the leg. I didn't cut any of the leg off. I apologize, guys. I'm having trouble talking because I'm focusing on trying to get this sprue. I hesitate sometimes to make these like model making videos, these assembling videos, because if I do, I might make a mistake. All right, now we're just gonna clean up this part here. Hopefully that focuses. And we are just gonna scrape really lightly, because this is a part that has detail. You don't want to scrape the detail off, but it's nice because there's also a mold line here that we can get rid of at the same time. If you can't get all of it off, what you do is actually take the Tamiya glue, the ultra thin glue, and you can just smoothen it out. There's quite a lot of detail here. I don't want to mess it up too much, so I'm gonna continue this with the glue later. I'm just getting rid of some of the mold lines. So I've also gotten some questions on how to get rid of the sprue residue. And the answer is there's a couple of different ways. And as you can see here, I am actually using my hobby knife, using the back of it to scrape off the sprue residue. The way that you do that is you can angle the knife at 45 degrees with and you're just using the back of it, not the sharp part, but the blunt, or I guess the square part of the knife, to slowly scrape off some of these parts. A lot of people say that you should sort of scrape away from you, or scrape towards you, I'm sorry. But I find that sometimes it's more effective to scrape away. So just totally depends on what you prefer. Sometimes it also depends on the geometry of the thing that you're scraping. Certain angles will make it easier to scrape off. And yeah, so try it out and see what works for you, what works for that particular part. The trick is to do it lightly first to make sure that you're not scraping off part of the model. That's really important. So yeah, that's one way to do it. There's another way, which is a little more risky. I think most commonly you're going to be using a number of these techniques to make sure that you get a clean part. And one other way is to use the sharp part of the knife to actually cut away the sprue part. It's a little more risky because you run the risk of cutting off part of the model and actually deforming that part that you're cleaning and changing. So I would say try all of these techniques and do it really conservatively and make sure that you don't damage the model. And if you do, that's totally fine too. It's probably something that's fixable anyway. Yeah. And the last one is obviously to use the Tamiya glue to just smoothen out the parts. So yeah. Be super careful with mold lines because sometimes it's actually not a mold line. So let me show you this one. So you can see here on the leg part, probably on this light, that it looks like there's a mold line there, and it probably is a mold line, but I think it's sort of been incorporated into the form of the model. So if you get rid of it, it's going to be really tough because you're going to be getting rid of a lot of detail that's on the armor part. So I'm going to choose not to get rid of that mold line because I think it's much better. It's much better to see it as not a mold line. Be super careful and actually look at your model and think about what the results are going to be. Like if you get rid of a mold line, like if it's amongst, if the mold line is like among like a lot of detail, like if it's around the same area as a lot of detail, then you probably don't want to get rid of the mold line because you might get rid of a lot of that detail. So here I'm using the Tamiya thin glue to get rid of imperfections on the body part. You can use it to get rid of sprue residue. You can use it to get rid of mold lines. And this is make sure it's the Tamiya thin glue. Be super careful with this process because you might run the risk of deforming the part. So yeah, use thin layers, and if you need to repeat the process to smoothen it out, then do it after it dries out. All right, so after hours of assembling, we finally finished our Slaughterbound. We got rid of just about every imperfection. I did spend quite a bit of time doing that because I just wanted really good results. We did undercoat it black. I always feel like if you don't know what undercoat to use, to just always start with black. It's the best in my opinion. And yeah, we are ready to paint. All right, so we're on to painting.
I would say for painting, everybody sort of has a different process. Right here, I'm just going to explain my process, which is a little weird, I think. I think first of all, I always try to come up with a color scheme. So what kind of reds I'm going to be using, what kind of golds I'm going to be using, and silvers and black, and how I'm going to do it. So it's important to come up with a plan, but I think it's also as as you progress through your painting journey, to be able to be versatile and to kind of change things as you go if you don't like it. And I've painted so many models by now. I think so many berserkers, so many Eightbound, and so many different characters, and a huge model like the Lord of Skulls, Angron. So by now I've sort of have the process that I like, and that is to have a plan and then change it along the way if you feel creative or if you want to try something. I think with painting, you should always be adventurous and to try things that you've never tried before. It's always good to test, but it's also good to just take a risk and do it. And most of the time, even if it fails, there's always a fix. There's always a way to do it another way. And it almost always ends up way better than I had expected. That is definitely true for this one. I'm really happy with this one. You guys will see at the end. All right, on to the colors. We undercoated this model Chaos Black, and then we colored the reds using Mephiston Red, washed with Agrax Earthshade. And for the golds, we use Balthazar Gold, washed with Agrax Earthshade. And for the skin color, it's a little weird. We used Rakarth Flesh, washed partially on the bottom part with Reikland Flesh Shade. And then on the top part where the tube meets the skin, we used Druchii Violet. That's what it was. For the silvers, we used Leadbelcher washed with Nuln Oil. And then for the sort of the horns and the gray parts, we left it Chaos Black, highlighted with Eshin Gray. And there's one other brighter gray that I used that I completely forgot. Probably leave it in the description somewhere. But yeah, those are just the highlights. And I think that's about it.
And there you go. That is the Slaughterbound done. This was so much fun to paint. I really enjoyed myself. After I finished painting the model, I did a lot of stuff to the base. Stay tuned for that basing video. Show you guys the step-by-step process of how I base the Slaughterbound, as well as my Hellbrute. It's a few different steps. It's pretty easy to do. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I had so much fun painting this. I think it took a total of like maybe 8 to 9 hours. Span of like 4 days, something like that. And yeah, this is just a beautiful model. If anyone says this is just basically an 8-bound, they would be absolutely not too wrong. This is just basically an 8-bound on steroids, but it's a lot cooler though. There's a lot of really cool details on this, a lot more skulls, a lot more just really awesome details. I'll probably be adding more skulls to the base too. I want to add some actual like heads, not just skulls. So maybe some helmets from the trophy box. That would be really, really nice. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments down below. I'll see you guys on the next one.